Hey everybody, Breakthrough Health and Life Coach Glenn Hattem here. It's been a little while. I'm excited today because I got my good buddy Kat here. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hey. All right. Well, there's going to be so much more of that. Hey, we were just talking, and I'm really excited about this conversation today because it's just an opportunity. We both do a lot of coaching work and helping people, business folks accomplish, the big picture. And there's some critical steps along the way of projects that need to get done in a timely way and done in a very intelligent way so that our businesses can flourish. And Kat's someone that has a unique ability of listening to what an individual's concerns are and trying to figure out a way to articulate that person's message out into the world in a more effective way so that the message of what we all uniquely are here to do gets out there to the folks that need our help. And so conversation today is maybe digging in right now. Kat, tell people a little bit about like what you're up to in the world today. And then I like to backtrack and go do
Mhm.
a little time warp and look back at how the heck did you get on a path like this? Because everyone can see there's a bazillion like best-selling books back there behind her. So I'm very blessed to be here today, but we're here to kind of get behind this and find out the secret sauce of why you're able to work at such a high level. So
Yeah. So I feel like I am like a super organized, productive person. I don't know how I got to that level. Like I think been forced, right? So these days, right now, I've been in business for 20 years, right? I had no idea I would even be an entrepreneur in my 20s. Okay, so I'm now 52. I don't feel 52, but my body says otherwise sometimes. But I've been in business for 20 years. And not only do I do business coaching, but along the way, I started doing so many books that I'm like, well, I'm just going to publish it myself. It's cheaper. So now I have a publishing company. And then along the way, of course, I'm a speaker too, because speaking is the fastest path to cash in your business and getting clients. So then I started an international speaker network. Like I don't do anything small. So that's where I am today, happily married to my husband, my second keeper husband, and have a stepdaughter and a dog. And we live in Northern California. And, life is good. Life is good. I'm still got new ideas and implementing new things all the time because I'm a true entrepreneur. So I don't sleep. I mean, I sleep, don't get me wrong. I don't, it's not all this, I don't work 4 hours a week, put it that way. Like, because this is what I love. So that's where I am today.
yeah, and you can hear there's just you got a full schedule. Is the 4 hour work week. That's just the concept. Uh, maybe one day, maybe but
Maybe,
probably
but I
not. You
think
probably
I would
wouldn't be
be
happy doing it.
bored.
Yeah,
I
she'd
would
be
be
bored.
bored if I only worked 4 hours a week. Honestly, I love working with clients and getting them ahas and pushing them to charge more and all that kind of stuff. So,
Well, what are some of maybe if you can reflect back, what were some of the aha moments in just your development? Like let's look back like to the younger years. Like were some of the ahas before entrepreneurship? What were some of the ahas of like this is clearly a good matchup with my energy? Some of the activities that you engaged in just growing up.
yeah, I was always in sales and marketing jobs. I've done, just always looking to what else do you want to buy with that? What else? Selling them up into something else, right? In clothing stores and restaurants. And I've even done door-to-door sales, which is knocking on doors, residential and commercial. It was a hard school of hard knocks right there, right? And I'm very thankful I did it actually, because I can take a no and act like nobody's business. Some people get really offended by someone not wanting to work with you. And I'm like, okay, next, like,
Right.
next door, next person, you know. So that was a good experience, although it was painful for 9 months. That's where but a couple of my last jobs, JOBs, I learned that number one, I don't want to be a manager because I don't like to manage and train people, although I'm doing that now with my team, but I'm trying to elevate them to do it themselves. But But I don't like to be a manager. I just like to be with the people. In fact, there was one job I was trying to go for a manager position. I was assistant manager and I couldn't get there because I couldn't pass the test. And it was all like a role playing test. I don't role play, just videotape what I do and you'll see how I work. And I couldn't pass their test. I was just too outspoken and not like buttoned up like they wanted. So that was one indication I shouldn't be working for somebody else.
That's very clear, and it probably was like probably clear to them, but
Yes.
they just didn't know what to do with you, because
Right?
you had a
They
certain.
did it. Yeah. And I made more money as the assistant manager instead of the manager, and I had less work to do because of all the headaches. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound good at all. Same thing as a bartender. I was a bartender. Oh, I could be a manager of the restaurant. But wait, there's so much more crap you have to deal with as a manager. Forget that. I want to stay as a bartender.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have these different types of jobs where it's like school of hard knocks. You got to learn these, like, everyone says, go out and knock on doors and we'll build certain muscles, build thick skin and
Yeah.
ability to be like, oh yeah, all right, there, let me get that next no. Let me hurry up and get that next no, because I'm gonna get to a yes here sooner or later.
What's super funny about the door-to-door sales is it helped me in my online dating. So like after my first starter marriage was ended, I went into the online dating world, right? And I'm like, well, how can I be more efficient with this? Because there's, I was on like 4 different dating sites and there's, profiles after profiles. So I created systems for the online dating process that I was putting myself through, like I would in systems in my business. And so I was sorting differently. I call it sorting, not dating. And I would just, there wasn't the swipe left, right then. That was, a long time ago. but I was like, okay, how can I meet 100 guys to find the one? Because I'm from a marketing standpoint, like it's a numbers game, right? How can I hit 100 doors to make my 10 sales? So I figured I got to meet 100 guys and at least go on one date to sort. Nope, not him. Next. And that's how I treated the online dating world too, in a sense.
Powerfully, totally empowered, systematized, like I can do this better.
It worked. I found my current husband on eHarmony, so there you go.
What was his system? What was his system?
He didn't have a system. He was just like,
like, what the hell happened?
He didn't know he was being systematized.
He knows now, though. So you learned your unique way of approaching things, and so you're finding, like, okay, there's fits and there's no fits. There's a means within yourself to evaluate very quickly. This works for me. This doesn't. I could do this better. And there's a way that I that works for me. And so, what next on the career path? What was unfolding next as you're starting to kind of figure out, I don't belong over here. I'm pretty good at these things. And it's showing up in my personal life. It's showing up in my, my professional path, that, okay, I got to get my own gig now. I got to do my own thing. Wherever.
Yeah. Luckily, I was smart enough to hire a business coach before I left my last job, right? A lot of people don't do that. They think they can figure it out, or they get laid off and don't have a plan. So I think I just hired her for like 3 or 4 months, maybe 3 months. I don't know. I don't even remember. But I was like, okay, should I start a marketing consulting business or should I do a gift basket business? I really like creating gift baskets and going out. I had all these ideas, just like any entrepreneur, right? I'm like, should I do this or should I do that? Luckily, she made me do this exercise where it really narrowed down my true passion for what I love to do, which is problem solving, idea generation. And I had a lot of knowledge in marketing and sales. So she funneled me that way. Thank goodness, because you don't make a lot of money in gift basket companies, keeping all this inventory. And, so that was helpful to at least.
I love how you got that narrowed down to the essence of, your purpose is more around, it wasn't a specific, like one of these particular paths, but it was like narrowed down to like, this is in alignment with what I'm like.
Yeah, she had this. it was this very interesting deck of cards that you sort through all these different characteristics and habits and things and tasks that you like to do. And I remember I have the deck still to this day, and it came down to problem solver was the number one thing. Like, you give me a problem, I will solve it. I'm the man in the relationship sometimes because, guys always want to fix things. Well, I want to fix things. You got the broken window. Well, I don't know how to fix that, but I can fix a lot of things. Right?
But I can hire someone quickly to get it done.
Right. Oh, let me call the window guy. Right. Let me hire someone. Right. Exactly. We got mosquitoes in the house right now. I'm like, well, call the pest guy for God's sakes. Right. Let's fix it. So I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver. Like, you're not getting clients. Let me look at your website. What are you saying to people? Da, da, da. What are you selling? What are you offering? Are you making an ask?
Very direct, fast.
I'm always trying to, find the direct approach because I don't like to waste time. I don't like to waste time. I don't like to waste money. Hence the sorting and the next, because I want to be efficient, productive, and profitable and impactful, of course, along the way.
So here you're wanting to have this as a business for yourself, and then you're like, probably didn't even ask the question yet. You're like, wow, there are a lot of other people like myself out there that want these same things and would really benefit from having someone like me come in and show them how to do things efficiently, fix their problems, and like, oh, I only have to go to one button. Just go to this one button here, and she'll actually like flip the switch on those things where I'm.
I always say I like to find the holes and the opportunities in your business. We got to fill the holes and we got to take advantage of opportunities and to be a smooth running, consistent money making business. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm taking some notes down. So when you're coming into this discovery, what did you bump into that was telling you, hey, this is an idea. Well, this person and I need to have this conversation, or I better take this course, or how did you start bumping into the pieces of the puzzle?
Well, I didn't take a course. I'm not really a product learner or a course learner, and I bought a bunch of courses before I figured that out, unfortunately. But you got to know your learning style, right? And invest to your learning style. I'm a one-on-one. Teach me what I need to know. Go to a workshop, learn what I need to know. But in the beginning, no, I didn't do any of that. Because I had this business coach. She said, go be a marketing consultant. I said, okay, I'll go be a marketing consultant. But what I had done previously in my jobs was I was a big networker. And so in my jobs, because I was in sales, I would go to the chamber events. They would all know me already, right? I was an ambassador at a chamber. I was the honorary mayor one year, right? Like, wow. So I was very active in my community. And in fact, I was in 4 chambers of commerce because there's 24 chambers right around me. Okay. Right? So I picked 4 and joined them all and became active in all of them where they all knew me. So when I started my own business, I just went there and said, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And I got clients pretty quickly. I didn't make millions, but I found a way to make money to trading hour for dollar at the time, right? Yeah, doing people's marketing, teaching them some stuff or doing it for them at the time. That's how I got started, just from networking and follow-up.
Yeah, so you're having these conversations, genuine conversations, meeting some great people, having a good time, finding out they're saying, hey, you know anybody that can do this? You're like, I can.
Yes. I mean, I had a marketing degree too, but I could tell you that nothing, my marketing degree prepared me for entrepreneurialism. Yeah. You just have to kind of go and do and be and get that hands-on experience.
Yeah, that's the entrepreneur experience. The entrepreneur experience is what's unfolding in this moment here, and I'm in the fire, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to grow, and the entrepreneurial sphere really impacts all the other areas of your life. It's like, the entrepreneur is like, I've got a great idea. No, it's not. It's going to fail. No, wait, it's actually brilliant. Nope, it was old news. And that.
Well, I do run across people every once in a while and say, oh, I'm an inventor. I want to create this product. And I'm like, well, but how do I get it to go sell it? Well, first you have to get a prototype, and then you have to get a manufacturer, and then you have to do this, and then you have to do that. And do you have $200,000? If you don't, then you might want to try a different path. Like, so sometimes I like to, not that I know everything about everything, but I know enough about enough to know if something is going to sell or what it's going to take to get something started. And I'm a realist, but I look at the big picture. I look at the nitty gritty. I want you to live your dream. I want you to have big, dreams and go after your dreams. But I'm also realistic about what's practical and what's going to really actually work. So sometimes
Where
people
are you
want,
selling these fruit baskets?
yeah, some people don't want to hear that,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I mean, unfortunately, it might go waste a bunch of money. I don't like to waste money.
Well, now you become very efficient and very effective at what you do these days. But it wasn't always the case, I'm assuming. And is that there are probably some hurdles along the way, some hard lessons and some bumps along the path? What would be, I guess, if this was a job interview, what's one of those things you're like, oh, I had to learn the hard way, and
Yeah.
came out it somehow. I'm glad I did go through that, because coming out the other side now, I have a different appreciation or skill set and awareness. I paid a small price for that lesson, because it could have cost me way more downstream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a few lessons for sure. Well, where do I start? Like, one of the things was when like 3 years into my business, I did hire a business coach, again,
Mhm.
someone who was doing more of an online business, but also could teach me how to do more leveraged business models. I didn't know what I didn't know at that time, right? So I went to learn from them, and I didn't have the money to do that. So I had to like pay off one credit card with another credit. I mean, I've juggled credit for many years in my business and leveraged credit to pay for workshops and coaches, because I did what I had to do because I believed in myself. I knew I could get there. And my saying is, it'll all work out in the end. You just have to believe that it'll all work out in the end. And I didn't know that I had that level of faith and commitment and belief in myself. I wasn't cognizant of that, right? But now I am. Looking back, going, "Oh yeah, I always believed. I knew it would all work out in the end." So I just kept investing and kept investing, and knowing that it would work out, and it has. A lot of people hold themselves back from doing that. I all in with my 401k. It doesn't matter. I'll make more money. I know I will, because I'm just got to get this going. And I took everything. I took my dad's, when he passed, his inheritance. Everything went into the business. But now it's multiple six figures over and over and over again, and it just keeps growing. So, but most people don't have that amount of faith and confidence in themselves. So the mistake, though, was hiring the business coach and not doing what they were telling me to do.
I mean,
Like,
how often does that
oh,
happen? Yeah.
that's great advice, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to niche that small. I want to help more people this way. And she's like, no, you need a niche. I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I could have been a millionaire early on
Yeah.
if I had done that, but it didn't feel good. So I didn't do it. And my ego got in the way.
Hmm. Hey,
That's one.
we're ready to hear that at that time. And it's amazing how we can hire coaches, and they've got some really great advice for us. And then, we're paying them or spending time there, and we're not even using the advice, that works. We're like, no, I'm going to stick with my old script.
Yeah, easily I've paid $100,000 and not taken the advice in at least 3 different people.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
one
I've
mistake.
been there. Yeah, I've been paid
Yeah.
a lot of money, and then someone who's like really like, I'm here, I'm committed, I'm gonna just soak in everything this person's saying, and I'm gonna integrate that into my life and my practices, and then they start hitting pay dirt very quickly. In fact, most people can hit pay dirt quickly in their lives if they just get out of their way. Like they've created this buffer that's blocking what's right there. And they're like, let me put a 5-day delay on this, or let me put a 5-week, a 5-month, a 5-year delay, because I'm just not ready to believe that big for myself. And that's a
Yeah.
coach's job, is to breathe life into these big dreams, these possibilities, and say, in
Yeah.
spite of these things, go by faith, not by sight. In spite of the circumstances in your life, birth this new vision, invite that in, which is going to then transform your reality, transform the way you perceive things and experience things, talk to yourself. Those are the things that, like, you have to grow yourself in the process of creating the new chapter or new changes in your life.
Yes, definitely. Personal growth goes with business growth. And sometimes personal growth is the hardest part. I know one year I hired a coach. It was, I hadn't gotten to six figures yet. And I was like, I really need to get to six figures. All my friends are getting to six figures, and I've been in business for like 6 years. And I was like, I don't know. So this person said, I'm going to show you. I said, you need to show me how to get to six figures. He's like, okay, $25,000. And I did it. And it was a mastermind plus some one-on-one, not a lot of one-on-one, frankly, for that price. But when I went to the class, or when I went to the meetings with a very small group of people, I feel like I'm in the hot seat, right? And I'm like, okay, guys, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm offering this, and this is what I'm charging, and da 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 da. And this is my website. Tell me what I need to do to make more money. And I would do and then what they would say would be love, Katrina. Just be love. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, how do I don't like, what do you mean? What do I do? Be love, Katrina. And I was like frustrated all year long. That's all they would say to me. Just be love, Katrina. And what they really meant was just learn how to breathe instead of do, and stop doing and start being. But my brain is a doing brain. It was never a being brain. So this was all new to me, and I was very resistant. I must tell you, and I cried all year long at all these little meetings that I was so frustrated, but I was trying to do it, but they wouldn't tell me what to do, right? So there's no like, here's a formula, here's what you say, here's what you, and so I was just doing what I did. At the end of that year, I made six figures, and I found a new love in my life who didn't end up sticking around. But the point is, I got love and money at the end of that year, which was amazing.
Yeah, so it's like kicking and screaming, like I'm in here, like, and it's almost like you just move through you anyways, without, in spite of your resistance.
Well, you to me exemplate the epitome of being. I mean, I know you do a lot of stuff, but every time I see you, you're just so casual and you're just so good, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Right. And so like, I'm the doing and you're the being, and we're both doing well. We need a good balance of that now. I understand completely. It's still, I have to work on the being because I'm a doer. And so regardless of what side you're on, I have a lot of clients who are beers, who are being, and they hire me so I can make them do the things. Right.
So yeah, it can't just like, like The Secret, where you just like draw it on a whiteboard and then, no, it's right. Like, that's a clear thing that's important to you. And now you got to take massive action on those things. You got to meet the universe halfway. And it sounds like
was that a mistake? Yeah, no, it wasn't my mistake, but it was a very trying time for me to personally grow in that way. Right.
And it sounds like you expect that of your clients, folks that get an opportunity to work with you. They're going to be stretched in how they're showing up for themselves. They're not just coming in to just do the thing they need to do with you. There's also a being component now, it sounds like, where it's like, hey, I'm here to serve this person at a pretty deep level here, while we work together. So there's a collaboration and a creation, not just in the project, but you and I have written books, and I always tell people, by the time I'm done with a book, it's like I'm like a different person from like the process of all these thoughts that had melded and had to move through. And I'm like, oh, I almost want to just throw away the book and write the new book because I'm already like past it.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Yeah. And writing books it's sometimes I work with a lot of newer authors, and just the act of writing their book gets them to the next level in their business.
Well, how would that look if folks wanted to just check out what you're up to in the world and get an understanding of some of the different offerings, since you only offer a couple of things? Usually they say, hey, jack of everything's a jack of nothing, but this woman here actually does a lot of extraordinary things that you've had to along the way of just helping and servicing the client, and being the type of person that's like, hey, I can do that, I can fix that, I know how to work with that, I can figure that out, I've got these contacts here in my network, let me just support you at the highest level. What might it look like for someone that, I always tell people, like, hey, here's how you can stalk her now late night, go to her website, do all the research you want, watch her videos, and then get off the fence and just have a friendly conversation. Like, how would that process start? So
Well, you can stalk me. I'm happy. Just, every once in a while say hi in a messenger or something. I'm all over any site that you find. I've had people tell me, I see them in person. This was before COVID, we'd go to an event, and then next month I go to an event and they secretly come up to me and say, Katrina, I spent 2 hours on your YouTube this weekend watching your videos. And I'm like, cool. There's a lot of good stuff there. So it's however you want to, consume information, but know your learning style. And when I mentioned earlier about taking the advice of your mentors, be careful, because sometimes we will buy a course or do it yourself kind of thing. And you're hearing this person tell you, and 400 million other people tell you to do this thing, when you haven't really identified yet your order of importance. And so I'm really good at helping people figure out their order of importance. Like if you don't have a website or a client base yet, the book may not be the first thing you do. We might want to get you some money first, because you might say, well, I don't have money to publish the book. Well, then don't work on the book. Wait a year to get some clients, get some money going. So the order of importance that you do things in, the way you market, what you do in your marketing, is something that a lot of people don't see how to get clarity on. So that could be worth a lot of unwasted time and money.
So you're
in the
that
wrong
type of
place.
person that it's kind of a counselor who's going to say, hey,
Mhm.
let me understand your business. Let me understand where
Mhm.
you're at currently. Let me understand where you're trying to get to. Let
Yep.
me understand the idea that you have in your mind that you're wanting to create right now. And based on my experience, you bring that curiosity to them of like, let's narrow our focus to what sequential steps are going to lead
Yep.
to the result. Because you know what, we might not even need this to accomplish this desired outcome. There might be a better route based on my resourcefulness and our collaboration and our just going through a questioning process, versus like, oh, you need a book done, I'll just do your book. And like, maybe they don't need a book right now, or maybe you need something else. And the whole idea is that someone like yourself is going to listen and go, what's the root thing going on here? What needs the most attention? And based on budget, based on time frame, let's come up with a strategic plan here that we can win at, or we don't play.
You gotta win. Don't waste time and money in the wrong places. Just like you
Yeah.
you evaluate where they are too. And it's so important to get somebody's eyeballs on what you're doing one-on-one, at least in the beginning, before you go half-cocked in different directions. Yeah.
Love it. Well, what websites would you recommend for them to start, maybe the YouTube channel or maybe your Instagram? What
Yeah.
are good spots for them to find you? So pen
Uh,
hand, everybody.
yeah, they're on. I mean, I'm under Katrina Sawa everywhere. So YouTube, Instagram.
Can
I
you
hang
spell
out
that for
mostly
everybody, just in case they're
Katrina,
not?
Katrina, S as in Sam, AWA, and Katrina Sawa. So jumpstartyourbiznow.com is my main website. You can get to everything from there if you look under community and all that. But jumpstartpublishing.net is the publishing site. The speaker network is the letter I, speakernetwork.com. If you're a speaker, you definitely want to join that. It's free for lead gen and speaking resources. And we're going to have you on speaking next year. I can't wait. And so, yeah, but just don't hide too long, because you won't get farther faster. Reach out.
With that, that's it, gang. I'm just going to say thank you to my guest, and thank you to everybody for listening in. Hopefully you got some value, and just again, just check out her spots to find out a little bit of information, see if it resonates with you, learn a little more. And then if you just want to have a conversation, get some help and some support, reach out. Closed mouth don't get fed. So, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.